guys, it's your girl Megan. So, in full NFL weather, first game of the season, had to wear my coach shirt, even though it's too big now, but
yeah,
had to support. Anyway, so we're gonna try to go and get this out before the game come on at 4, so we won't have any interruptions.
There you go.
All right. So, if you watched our live yesterday or my Snapchat or whatever, then you know what today's meal prep is going to be. It's a breakfast treat or dinner, because sometimes we eat breakfast for dinner too. Anyway, it's something that we don't eat often. Normally I only make them on the weekends, and it's like a very rare occasion. Alright, so we're going to make homemade buttermilk biscuits and sausage gravy for our breakfast for next week. So gonna go ahead and get into making this. It's really quick. A lot of people shy away from making buttermilk biscuits and stuff, or homemade biscuits in general. It's really easy. Like what, 3-4 ingredients, or 3 if you kind of. Anyway, all right. So the key ingredients. Some people use normal all-purpose flour, but then you have to add your salt and your baking powder and all of that stuff in it. So if I was back home, I would use white lily flour, but it's really hard to find here in Indiana. So got the next best thing, which is King Arthur, but you want to use self-rising flour. That's really a big key. So I'm doubling this because, like I said, we're making it for breakfast next week. So I'll leave the recipe in the description box, but I have 5 cups of self-rising flour. If you can't find King Arthur, then I assume any self-rising flour would be okay, but this is what I've used. Or white lily for my southerners. Now here's the other key ingredient. You're gonna need some frozen butter or very cold butter. Don't use it like straight out of the fridge, or if it's been sitting out. I'm going to use a half a cup of this, so a half a block of this, and because I'm making double, I'm going to use a half a cup of butter flavor shortening, or you can just use all shortening. You can even use lard if you want, or you can just use all butter. However, it needs to be very cold. The last ingredient is going to be 2 cups of buttermilk. If it was just a normal serving, it would just be a cup. But it has to be very cold. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with this. You will either need a cheese grater or a dough blender cutter type thing. I don't have a dough one. You can even use your fingers if you want, but because it's real important to kind of incorporate all the fats in the butter when it's cold, it's just easier to work with this way. So let's go ahead and get this. So like I said, I have 5 cups of self-rising flour. This step is optional, but I like to sift it just to make sure I get all of the lumps out. After you get the the butter and your fats grated or chopped up, then the dough itself is going to go in the freezer just to make sure that the butter and the shortening remains cold. If you were using just normal vegetable shortening, it doesn't really matter if it's cold or not, because the buttermilk is going to be cold, but because that's what I'm using, I prefer to have it extremely cold. Okay, so that's been sifted. So now you want to use the big side of the grater. It'll make it easier on yourself as well. The parchment paper or wax paper is just to catch it. My cameraman is on point. You getting it all, ain't you?
Yes, Lord.
Goodness.
I got me some new equipment. I'm gonna use it.
Cause that's a cup of butter. So you'll need a 1/2 cup of this. Well, no, that was a 1/2 cup of butter, sorry. So I'm gonna use a 1/2 cup of this. And because it's shortening, even though it's frozen, it's still kind of soft. And it's gonna get all over my hands, I know. So I'm gonna use 1/2 of this block. Trying to like I said, it's already soft, so it could have eliminated shredding it, but I want to make sure that it's well incorporated. You hand me that keeper over there. Thank you. I'm getting it. Shit. I mean, shoot. Alright. So, and my hands are all. Look! Watch yourself now. Alright, so take off. Really misty. And if you don't like to get your hands dirty, you can wear gloves. If cooking for me and my family, yeah, I'm cooking for me and me and Drew. I'm messing my family. Me and Drew. So
our family.
Yeah, you are.
Well, shoot, say me and my family.
I know that my hands are clean, so I ain't tripping about it. But you want to try to get all of the butter out.
I didn't know it was gonna come out looking like that.
Alright.
It's like string cheese.
Yeah, it does. Well, it's a shredder, a cheese grater. So, take your butter and fat and just dump it in there. Just an easy process. Messy part again. Actually, I'm not. I'm gonna take a fork.
I was wondering.
Listen, I was trying to be.
I wasn't gonna say nothing. I'm just a cameraman.
So, you want to take your sifted flour and just incorporate the butter and the shortening all through. You want it to get like pea size almost, because it's going to crumble once the flour mixes in with your butter and stuff. You just want to make sure it's well incorporated all the way through. And again, you want to work kind of quickly because you don't want the butter and stuff to start melting.
Mister, you gonna sit there upside down and just meow?
That's what she always does. Okay. So, man, my hands. Alright, so at this point, you're gonna pop this in the freezer for 10 minutes and let it chill again. And then once that's done, we'll be back to actually make the dough and cut the biscuits and put them in the oven. Alright, be back. Alright guys, so we're back. It's been about 10 minutes. Our dough has been, or our flour mixture, because it's not dough yet, has been chilling in the freezer for 10 minutes. I've already preheated the oven to 475. Well, it's preheating now. So now it's time to get our buttermilk and the dough incorporated so that we can actually roll out and cut the biscuits. Okay, so time to let's take our fork and just make sure that our butter and fat, I say fat because it's the shortening, is kind of evenly mixed. But you want to make a well in the middle, and basically it's the hole. So you're going to take your buttermilk and just add a little bit at a time. And so you want to try to fold the flour into the milk. You see how it's starting to come together a little bit? Here in a second, I'll probably go away from this fork and just start using my hands. But
you're trying to be neat now, that's all. All for the camera, guys. Normal her hands be in there.
Yeah. Alright. Yep. I can't do it.
Okay. We need to put a timer on that, see how long that lasts.
Hush! Alright.
There you go.
So, you want to just... It's messy.
Sticky.
And that's what you want. This dough is rather sticky. So... Alright. And...
Smell good already.
And you're just...
Smell like that in cans when you pop the dough to get ready to bake some biscuits.
I need to get this while it's cold.
Oh, so it's gonna clump all together.
Yeah. And then so you're just adding your rest of the flour to it. Yeah, it's very sticky and cold.
Yeah, it's been in the freezer for a little while.
Alright, so like I said, you just add a little bit of the buttermilk at a time so that it helps pick up the flour. Thank you. So, like I said, you will take a little bit more flour and dust it on the top, as well as your hand, because then that'll help get it off of your hand. And this is cold. Alright. So now, let's go in and get it so we can get it into a ball where we can work with it.
You gotta work that stuff.
At all. Thank you. I got it. Cause now your hands will be dirty and you got the camera.
I can't do that. I was trying to be helpful.
Whatever.
Hey, look at here.
Alright, so you take a good amount of flour. As you can see, it's very sticky. Alright. Roll out the dough. Get it off. Alright. Add more flour to the top. So now process of kneading it.
If you're a neat freak, this ain't the job for you.
Not at all. So now you just need to knead it so that everything is incorporated. Okay. All right, set this. Back over there.
Then you put the flour in the bowl so it don't stick, right?
Right. Oh. And more flour. Like I said, it's messy, but they're so good.
Yeah, they really are.
All right. So now it's time to add the layers into your dough. Okay? So we got it. I gotta wash my hands. I can't.
You can't handle no more, baby?
Be right back. Okay. Alright, so I'm back. Hands are clean now. Couldn't take it. Alright, so you take your rolling pin and make, even though this is a non-stick one, you still want to make sure that it's floured. And leave some of the flour off to the side because you'll need it for your cutter. Alright, so take it, roll the dough out. At this point, it doesn't really matter like the length or the width or whatever because you're creating the layers. So you've rolled it out. Now you want to take it and fold it within itself. And roll it again. Some people don't do this step, but I like layers in my biscuits. Alright. And now you take the side, fold it again. You can do it about 4 times. 4 or 5 times. Right? And this will be like the last time. Alright? Like I said, you got all this extra flour, just leave it to the side because you'll need it when you're getting ready to cut it, which is what we're doing now. Alright, so you have it. Now we're gonna roll it out and start cutting out the dough, the biscuits. Alright, so I'll say that was probably about 1/2 inch thick. Alright, so you take your cookie cutter or biscuit cutter, however you want, or you can use a glass if you don't have it. The key is you want to make sure that you flour your cutter and stick it in, don't twist it. Stick it, and if you need to, you can just pull it out to make sure that you get the biscuit out, but you don't want to twist it because then that seals the ends and stops it from rising. Alright, so take it. It's hard not to want to twist it because it's not moving, but you just take it and slide it. And there's your biscuit.
Well, look at that.
So you place it on your cookie sheet, or if you're using a skillet, a cast iron skillet, or whatever you are, just make sure that they're touching because then that helps them to rise. And just keep going until you cut them all out. So I'm gonna cut these out and then we'll be back. Our last one.
One.
As you can see, once you started like reworking,
That's mine.
they don't all look the same. But I used all of the dough that we had. That's all that's left. Besides the mess. Alright, so the oven, like I said, is heated to 475. Because ovens are different, you want to cook them until they're nice and golden brown. You want to leave them in between 13 and 15 minutes. 15 minutes at the max, but just check them at 13 minutes to see if they're crispy enough or brown enough for you. Alright, so I'm gonna place these in the oven, clean this up a little bit, and then we'll be back to make the sausage gravy. I have biscuits here. Normally I would do honey butter, but I'm just doing butter today since we are gonna have to take these to work or whatever. But they've been in the oven, get out the way, for 13 minutes on 475, and I just have some melted butter here. Just gonna put that on the top. I'm not gonna use all this butter, I'm sure. I thought you didn't want to taste, so move.
That one right there.
You didn't want to taste anything, so get out the way.
I don't. I just want to eat it.
Ain't that tasty?
Mm-mm. Taste just a little bit. Eat. I just take the whole thing.
Get your ass out the way. Alright. So there you have your homemade buttermilk biscuits. Hey family, thanks for watching.
Please be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Also, check out our latest video and be sure to subscribe.
Bye,
Bye guys.